Hey veterans, hey everybody. So I was listening to a podcast last night when I was working in a front end loader, and there's a news outlet called The Blaze, and apparently Micah X's parents didn't want to talk to anybody else but The Blaze because they wanted their story to be said. But here's the thing. They spoke honestly, and what they had to say proves a very interesting point. It's not that this guy was racist. It's not that he truly hated white people. His stepmother's white. His mother's a preacher. He was a veteran. And from what I gathered I haven't heard the full interview, but from the snippets that I heard, he came back from Afghanistan. He was denied by the VA for claims. He's put on a waiting list, like we all are. Had a guy message the page last night. He's been trying to get care for 40 years. There could be more to the situation, to the story. The guy that messaged me last night, I don't know. But with Micah, he had just come back from Afghanistan, and he said he hated liars. And how many times have us as veterans been lied to? Now, he did do this because of Black Lives Matter. He did do this because he felt he was getting targeted by, whoever. And it's hard not to see that when you come back and there are nothing but videos all over YouTube saying that the Iraq war was falsified. We came in there for this reason and that reason. You've got Louis Farrakhan on one side screaming and shouting and saying America's horrible. They're targeting everybody. And if you're a minority and you feel like a victim, well, you're backed into a corner. Yet you got the same guys on the other side, guys like Alex Jones, guys like Jesse Ventura, saying 9/11 was conspiracy, it never happened, which it may or may not. We don't know. There's nothing we can do right now. We can pound our heads against the wall as much as we want, but it's going to take 50 years of digging to find out what has happened over the past 15. It's like the Gulf of Tonkin incident in Vietnam. Now we know it's been declassified, that it was made up to get us into Vietnam, that's probably the case. Here's a question. How are you going to know that right now? Until Congress steps up or the people start saying, look, stop lying to us. It's not a hard conclusion to make that you come back from Afghanistan, you're disenfranchised through your country lying to you, your leaders lying to you, your congressmen lying to you. The laws that are put in place are so ridiculous. And, you've got laws being passed by the Congresses, by the state Congresses, the State House and Senate, that are just overreaching. And the poor Leos that come out there and they're beating the street trying to enforce these laws. I think we have a country problem. It's not us versus them. I think a lot of us felt a lot like this poor kid did. He was in the wrong. God, he was in the wrong. We all know that. But he is a veteran. He came back and nothing felt right. Before he left, his mother and father said he was a strict constitutionalist. He wanted to fight for his country because he believed that they were good people. Now, we might know better. But he needed to come back and find kind of a tribe to hold on to, something to latch on to, something that felt real, like somebody was actually being honest. And he fell into the wrong crowd. He fell into the Black Lives Matter crowd, which is dividing us even further. It's like I said, it's the same thing with Louis Farrakhan and Alex Jones. I understand that Alex Jones is trying to stop the globalists, but there's an easier way to do it besides fear-mongering. Guys like Paul Joseph Watson, he can speak about an issue and not completely divide people. He can use sense when he talks, and he can actually present facts and bullet points that make sense and that you can understand and listen to. When we start talking about the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter, we're dividing it even further. What we should be talking about is Why can officers not use discretion anymore? Why are they federalized in their training? And there's going to be some Leos that say we're not. Yeah, you are. You know, on the one hand, you have more laws than anybody can enforce. I guarantee you, everybody watching this video has at least been guilty of probably 100 to 150 misdemeanors, because there are that many laws in the books. So you got law enforcement officers trying to sort out these laws, trying to find out how to not get themselves in hot water, how to keep revenue going for the state, which, I mean, they don't realize it, but that's what it is. And that's why they keep doing it. You know, it's not really because they want you to be safe, at least not the congressmen and the congresswomen. That's not the reasoning for it. Because if all Americans stopped speeding, stopped not wearing their seatbelt, and acted perfectly, do you know how much money the state would lose? They'd have to find other ways to tax you. So what we're looking at is we're looking at an entire society right now that's backing everyday Americans into a corner. You know, I've got a friend who's a bull rider. He got a DUI, and now the cops just pull him over to pull him over. And a lot of people think he's a ne'er-do-well, but he's a bull rider, redneck country boy, loves to fish and hunt. I don't know, how do they act? You know, and they're getting disenfranchised too. You've got Trump and Hillary, and they're running for president. Everybody in this nation right now, they feel cornered. And this poor kid did too. So he found solace in the Black Lives Matter movement, thinking that he was trying to do good, not knowing what the actual case is. You know, because that's the other problem with really divisive figures. They don't do their homework. They don't look at the facts. All they do is want to divide. All they want to do is corrupt and hate and kill. That's not who we are. It's not who we've ever been. You know, when they fought the French-Indian War, Americans looked to each other and said, we're a lot more like each other than we are these British guys. And that's what started this country. That's what started the sentiment of being an American. And love it or hate it, you know, it's kind of like the same thing with the anarchists right now. All they want to do is, I hate the state, I hate nationalism, statist, everybody's a statist, let's just take the whole thing down. You've got the anarcho-capitalist and the anarcho-communist. Now the communist guys, they're out there with the Black Lives Matter just trying to stir the pot, just trying to get this collapse going, trying to get the reset pushed. I don't think you understand how good we have it. Energy has never been cheaper than it is now. You know, you have infrastructure that took a century to build or more, you know, 150 years to build. And if that goes away, I mean, you'll see things make a comeback you haven't seen for 200 years. The Black Plague, typhoid, dysentery, smallpox, polio, lupus. I mean, it'll all come back with a vengeance. You think cancer's a problem now? Wait till you don't have anywhere to take a dump. I mean, so the point of this video is this. When your veterans come back, when your buddies come back, and they seem a little off, talk to them. Get in touch with them. Say, dude, what's going on? I got a buddy right now I can't get a hold of, and I'm about to drive 400 miles to go see him. Because I know he has issues, just like I do. Because I've been down that hole, and I've been stuck in it. And every once in a while I feel that hole coming back, and I say, I'm not doing this again. So I go drag racing, I go fishing, I get back in the game. And that's the other thing. We set up the Combat Brotherhood quarter-mile combat events especially for this situation. You don't know what to do. You don't have a mission anymore. You don't have a clear objective. You lost your identity as a soldier, and now you're trying to assimilate. You know, this is where you pick yourself up. You know, don't let your dog tags dangle in the dirt. This is where it comes from. So reach out to your battle buddies. Get involved in the veteran community. Talk to each other. Because, like I said, it's not hard to make the connection that he came back, felt so lied to by his government and his leadership that he didn't have another option, at least in his mind. Like I said, what he did was awful and horrible. And my heart goes out to the families of the fallen, especially the veterans that were killed in Dallas. But we need to start coming together. We need to reach out to our fellow veterans. Because remember, we only have each other right now. We fought next to each other. We cried next to each other. I mean, who knows how many IEDs this kid walked past? I know I walked past quite a few. Walked across a few minefields as well. You know, we don't know exactly what he saw or how he felt, just like the rest of us. You'd have to talk to the guys in his unit. Yeah, and then to come back home and find out everything you knew, everything you thought you knew, your education, nutritional guidelines, and everything was a lie. And most veterans have felt it when they came back. You come back and everything you fought for, every reason you went rah, 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 could have been a lie. And now you're back to being a civilian again. Now you have to worry about insurance. Now you have to worry, every time you drive your car, you're going to get pulled over. You know, you guys know the drill. And with that, I'll see you guys later. Like I said, reach out, talk to each other, reach across the lines. We can't have this keep going. See you soon.